In the 70s, there was one band that brought together the blues, R&B, reggae, bluegrass, jazz, funk and hard rock. This band has stood the test of time, defining an era. The 70s were a groundbreaking time when music was honest and from the heart. One of this band's songs is the #1 requested song of all time. Get ready to step back in time and experience the music of Led Zeppelin with Chicago's very own Kashmir.
Hi, everybody. I'm James D. Jones of the Magical Mystery Tour Entertainment. And we're going to be talking with Frank Livingston, the guy who plays Jimmy Page in Kashmir, the Led Zeppelin show. But before we get to Frank, let me personally invite you to our upcoming concert that we're having this Saturday, June 13th. It would be at the Aspen Bristol Ballroom, located in the Quality Inn at 800 North Kinsey Avenue in Bradley, Illinois. And with that, you know, folks, there are tribute bands, and then there are experiences, right? And for more than 2 decades, Kashmir, the Complete Led Zeppelin Experience, has been proving that honoring musical history isn't about imitation. It's about preservation. In an era where spectacle often overshadows substance, Kashmir has built its reputation on a simple but uncompromising philosophy. Get the music right first. Founded in 2001 by guitarist Frank Livingston, the band set out not merely to dress like Led Zeppelin, but to capture the electricity, the precision, the sheer power that made the original quartet legendary. Every vintage amplifier, every costume detail, every lighting cue, every note serves one purpose, not to showcase the performers themselves, but to transport the audience to a time before musicians changed rock music forever. Their motto says everything. It's not about us. It's about Led Zeppelin. That level of respect raises fascinating questions about artistry, identity, authenticity, the delicate balance between paying tribute and creating something uniquely your own. We're going to be pulling back the curtain on the passion, the discipline, and the philosophy that have made Kashmir one of the most celebrated Zeppelin tribute productions in the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages and sizes, please welcome the musician Frank Livingston, who portrays Jimmy Page in Kashmir, the Led Zeppelin show, who they just don't perform the songs. They recreate an era. And with that, I have with me Frank Livingston. Good morning, Frank. How are you today?
Good morning, James. Good to be here.
Hey, man.
Doing well.
I know you're very busy, and we've got some big shows coming up. And, you know, I just wanted to let the audience out there and the fans get a behind the scenes kind of feel about Kashmir. So, you know what? I can't help but notice you got something on your lap there?
Yeah, this is a hurdy-gurdy. It's a very awesome instrument. Kind of like a violin, except it uses a crank. Like,
Nice.
If you notice in the beginning of the song Remains the Same movie,
Yes.
Well, not in the beginning, but there's a part where Jimmy Page is in the back of his home on Loch Ness, and he's sitting on a blanket playing the hurdy-gurdy. And so naturally,
I watched it last night. So
did you notice that part?
What you're talking about? Yeah, and when he turns, he's got those red, bright eyes. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's good. So that's one of the vintage instruments that you use?
Well, yes. It's very delicate though. So I'm very, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's not a good thing to take it out, but
Oh, I
I
get you.
love
Yeah.
playing it at home,
Mm.
and these instruments are extremely expensive. This was handmade in Europe
Oh,
and took
wow.
quite some time to get. Um,
Wow.
but there are shows where I'm able to incorporate it.
I see. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, it's definitely got a unique sound, but so did Led
Yeah,
Zeppelin. That's probably why Jimmy Page wanted to use it, right? Now, I got some
absolutely.
questions I want to ask you for the fans out there. Frank, you've been doing this since 2001. So, congratulations
Yeah.
on maintaining
Thank
such
you.
a wonderful tribute experience of Led Zeppelin. Let me ask you this, though. Have you ever discovered something about Led Zeppelin's music? Uh, you know, the craft, I would say, of their music talents only because you had to reproduce it so precisely?
Yes. It's really important that the link between the band members, it's kind of like, I don't want to sound cosmic or something, but it's kind of like a telepathic thing. Everybody feels music their own way. And when you're playing music together, everyone has to kind of lock into the same feel, if you don't mind me using that word. It's
Not at
kind of like
all.
you tap your foot to music when
Mhm.
subconsciously, and some people tap their foot a little bit ahead of the beat, some a little behind the beat, some right together. And the thing to try to do that I've always reached for was to try to get everybody in the band to have that particular thing really, really on point. Do you
Mm,
understand what I'm saying?
I do. I do. So you guys are all on the same page, in the same vibe, just clicking and making the music
Yeah,
phenomenal.
if everyone loves the music the same way and really gets in that zone, it's magic. It's like lightning in a bottle.
There you
And
go. I like that.
I don't know that anybody has ever recreated what the four members of Led Zeppelin have done, but it is certainly a lot of fun trying. Let me tell you that.
Yes. Well, I have seen your shows several times. And
Oh,
the thing about it is when you're at a Kashmir concert, you're just not sitting there listening to music. You're actually experiencing it and you're transported to a place for a few hours to escape all the daily stuff that life throws at us. And at your concert, Kashmir, the Led Zeppelin show, you give the audience an escape to that magical, mythical place where music means everything. So
yeah, it's kind
good
of like
stuff.
a thing that makes everyone communicate on a different level.
Mhm.
What happens to me when I do a show is, naturally, you look forward to it and you think about it and plan it and everything, and nothing ever goes exactly as it's supposed to be. But one thing always seems to happen: as soon as the music starts, I go into this zone and I feel really, really comfortable there. And it doesn't matter, nothing around me even exists at that point. It's a really, it's a really nice place. It really
Yeah,
is.
it's transcendental. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's transcendental. I
And
like that.
I feel like what happens is when things are really, really, when there's a lot of people that are just like um, communicating on that level,
Hmm.
it kind of takes everybody away from what's negative, and just puts us
Yeah,
all in a very comfortable place.
yeah,
That's how I feel, at least.
yeah.
And I
No, that's
really
a good way to describe
sincerely
it.
mean that. Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
it's pretty
Frank,
cool.
when you guys are on stage, is there
Yes.
ever a point where you stop thinking about imitation and genuinely feel transported into another era?
Absolutely, all the time. It's kind of like it's timeless and ageless. It's like you feel like you did the first time you heard the songs. That's the thing about this music. When I was growing up, it was such a big part of my life, and I loved the Led Zeppelin. I actually even went to see them once as a little kid. I didn't know how to play or anything, but I was in the back of the Chicago Stadium. Probably my head was probably touching the roof. And by the time the sound got to me, I couldn't even tell what song it was. You know what I mean?
Oh
But
no.
but I was there. I did I
Wow.
did attend one of their shows. It was pretty awesome just to be a part of that event.
Now, speaking of those concerts during that era, I mean, Frank, like we say, life has a way of throwing wrenches in the machine and making us work around problems. The 1970s concerts, they were not perfect. They were raw, they were unpredictable and human. Do you intentionally preserve those imperfections?
That is what makes it all worthwhile. The human element. And nowadays it's everything's perfect. You know, AI has pretty much
Mm,
revolutionized everything, and it's I don't know if it's a good thing. I really don't. I still
yeah.
use the amplifiers that Jimmy Page used. A lot of the Led Zeppelin bands that I know that play,
Hmm.
I follow. They use like the guitar players will use like amplifier simulators, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
they'll use like a big giant board with all these effect pedals on it, and
Hmm.
I just plug into a wah wah pedal and then into the amp. Well, I have an Echoplex too, which is a tape
Hmm.
echo machine, and
Yeah.
that's what was available in that day. And sometimes we'll do a show and the song goes say, I'm hearing all kinds of like hums and hisses from your amp. And I go, well, that's because it's supposed to be there. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to sound like you're in a white alcohol swabbed room. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Right.
supposed to
Well,
sound real, you know?
that's the thing. I think with all the technology and the AI, it's almost to the point where music is it's just clinical. It's clean, sanitized, and sterilized, and it's not got that human connection.
There, there's no
You know?
danger in it. There's something to say for being on the edge of your seat, wondering whether the guy's going to hit that note or not. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
if the
Yeah.
if that bend is going to be correct.
Yeah. Is
Myself,
it going to
I
hit that
like that.
sweet spot?
Yeah, I like that danger and
Hmm.
that adventure. You know, to me, I think
Yeah.
that's really a cool thing. But I mean, to each your own. But that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. And I think people that like the Led Zeppelin like the organic, honest energy of it all. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah. Now,
So
Frank, has studying Zeppelin so deeply made you appreciate them more, or has it revealed just how impossibly they truly were to duplicate?
they can't even duplicate what they did. I mean, when I saw the O2 Arena show, they did a fantastic job. But them recordings, early recordings from the 60s and,
Yeah.
the new Yardbirds and all that, that
Right.
was magic. That was like, I mean, that was like the Beatles or something,
Yeah.
but different, you know what I mean? That
Oh, yeah.
that was a great time.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I was alive at that time. I really
And I
am.
imagine so are a lot of the fans of Zeppelin when they get to see Kashmir, the Led Zeppelin show, because you're transported. You actually feel like you're watching Zeppelin for a couple hours. You don't exist anywhere else except the here and the now between the myth and the magic of the Led Zeppelin catalog of music. It's just amazing. Now, Speaking of that, Frank, is there one Led Zeppelin song that looked simple on paper, but turned out to be, well, astonishingly difficult to recreate faithfully?
Well, all of them, but there's one in particular that I can point out that when you hear the song, it sounds very repetitious and very simple, but it's one of the most complicated songs I've ever heard. And that's When the Levee Breaks. And
Oh, that's a good one.
it's a traditional arrangement. It
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing about the blues, which is same thing, same
Right.
kind of thing, is it may seem really simple to play, but it's probably way more complicated than a Bach fugue being played backwards. The blues, the blues is not something you can notate or
Mhm.
even explain. It. I mean, I don't claim to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To
It's something you
me, what
feel.
Robert Johnson did,
Yeah.
yeah, it's. How do you explain when you're in love or yeah, I mean it's just the blues is what that kind of thing. And to me, When the Levee Breaks, um to actually recreate that the way it should be
Right.
is extremely difficult. I
Mm.
know I've never heard anybody actually really do it. May sound like they're doing it, but
Right.
they're not. It's
Ah.
really, that song is, if you tried to mathematically figure it out, you can't. It's just, it's
It's a feel.
it's it's a total feel, and it's really weird. It's like they recorded it in
Mhm.
a certain tuning, and then
Oh.
when then they slowed it down a whole step lower, and that's when Robert Plant sang it. So when you hear it back at standard pitch, it's this is my theory, you
Yeah.
know. We do it in the key that you hear it in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our Robert sings it like in that key that Robert Plant did it in, but it's very difficult to do correctly. You know,
So
it really is to really capture that essence. You know, it really is. There's a video up on our Facebook page that has us doing it from a long
mhm.
time ago.
Uh-huh.
And I felt good. I felt good about that video, but it's.
Oh.
I'm just saying that is the one to me that's
That's a
really hard to
challenging
do.
song. You
And I
just
see,
can't wing that one.
yeah, I see. There's a lot. There's like 100 Led Zeppelin tribute bands out there, and I've seen
Yeah.
a few of these bands. They're called like album bands, where they're not
Oh,
concerned with creating the vibe of Zeppelin. They just want to exactly sound like it, and
right.
they do pretty good. But it's still not. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
It's really
There's
hard. That's
feel.
a hard. You could probably ask any of them. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
hard to explain.
Well,
When the Levee Breaks.
I like that you put so much detail into the effort of recreating this magic of Led Zeppelin. And speaking of that, when audiences close
Trying to,
their
yeah.
eyes, when the audience closes their eyes during your show, what do you hope that they're hearing beyond the notes?
I hope they're connecting with where I'm at and
Mm-hmm.
in that same place because it's a beautiful place, you know.
Right.
And my
Yeah.
goal is to get everybody in that place. You know, I just, it's kind of like the first time you heard Magical Mystery Tour, you know,
Right.
or, it's just it's hard to explain.
It's
I'm so
magical. It's
thankful
mythical.
that I'm able to. It is, and like Jimmy Page was really surrounded by all this, mysticism and stuff.
Oh, I
And
know.
that was kind of part of it too, I mean, the whole vibe,
Hmm.
the
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
without a
the,
doubt.
the cool mystical energy that surrounds it.
Yeah.
That's why I love this hurdy-gurdy. It's really a
I
cool
do.
instrument.
That's, now, has there ever been a performance where the crowd's reaction just made you forget you were playing a tribute and simply feel part of like rock history?
Well, yeah, actually, sometimes I get so like um, into it, so much a part of it,
Yeah.
they'll make a mistake because I'm not actually there. I'm somewhere else,
Right.
and
You're
I'm
in
not
your own
making this up.
zone.
I sincerely mean what I'm saying. I really do, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. I really believe this music speaks to me.
Oh, yeah. And to so
You know.
many others too. My goodness.
Oh yeah,
Now,
it's awesome. Yeah.
now, Frank, what's one misconception that people have about tribute bands that you really wish disappeared forever?
I think this doesn't hold true with all of them. To me,
Hmm.
it can be a very pretentious kind of thing. Like if you go see a tribute band and they really, I mean, they look so much like that tribute band.
Yeah.
It's kind of like smoke and mirrors. It kind of, but
Right.
then when you hear them, to
Yeah.
me, the sound is the most important thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should try to create the look and the vibe and the costumes and all
Yeah.
that too,
Yeah.
but the priority should be on the sound. That's just my personal feeling, you
Yeah.
know. So the, to me, to me, when you get guys together that are in a tribute band,
Hmm.
you should try to. You don't make it better. You should try to do it as close as you possibly can. Exactly, even if it's not modern or like,
Right.
I mean, a lot of people don't understand. You know, I mean, like the keyboard parts. A lot of the
Hmm.
keyboard parts to these Led Zeppelin songs are not really complicated. They're just got a great feel, and
Yeah.
a lot of keyboard guys I've played with, they make it better. A lot of people in bands, they always want to. It'd be like if I played Yngwie Malmsteen guitar parts during the Led Zeppelin leads. I don't think it would
Hmm.
work. You
No.
know,
No. No.
I mean, even though that's way, it's like he makes me feel like I have thumbs for fingers. Yngwie is just a master shredder. But
Right.
but to me, there's something about Jimmy Page that is
Oh, yeah.
completely in its own league. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, and
wonderful
let's be
thing.
honest, the sound is the foundation of the experience. So I'm totally in agreement with you on
Absolutely.
that. Now, Frank, you
Yeah.
founded Kashmir because sound mattered. That's what we're talking about, more than costumes. And
Exactly.
has the
Exactly.
music industry become too focused on visuals at the expense of the musicianship?
Well, at one point, like in the 80s, that's all it was about. It was more important, what your hairdo looked like than it was. And
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, that was a time that I guess had to happen.
Right.
But, uh, it's a matter of opinion, I think. But to me, when I was growing up and I saw the Beatles and on Ed Sullivan, and
Hmm.
I was looking at the Sears catalog, guitars and drums, and
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of feeling that feeling again, if you could resurrect one lost
sounds like the
Led
name of a
Zeppelin,
song.
if you could resurrect one lost Led Zeppelin concert and witness it firsthand, Frank, let me ask you, which would it be and why?
I would want to be at the Kinetic Playground on Clark Street in Chicago in the 60s to see the new Yardbirds.
Ooh.
To me, that was when lightning in a bottle was, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. That would have been, I
Well,
was too young, but it would have been cool. It would have been really cool.
so which Zeppelin song changes personality the most when played live compared to its studio recording?
Which one changes personality the
Yeah,
most?
like how you hear it on the record and then how you hear it live.
It's a hard one, but I kind of think the song called "The Song Remains the Same"
Yeah,
is
that's a good one.
is just a really cool one. I mean, for the guitar part's completely different from the studio and the live, and also the same with "Since I've Been Loving You."
One of my
Since I've Been
favorites.
Loving You, when I heard that on Led Zeppelin 3, the studio version, I was just floored. I'm like, how could you ever even recreate that ever?
No.
And that's what we try to do. We try to do the studio version of that. We do the live version too, but which brings me to another interesting point. A lot of the songs that we play, because we're four members, there's four of us, not more than that.
Right.
We try, it's kind of like a Led Zeppelin thing, not like a Led Zeppelin orchestra. Like a lot of the Pink Floyd bands have like 13 people in them. Which is cool, really cool. But I mean, there's four of us, so a lot of the songs that Led Zeppelin did, Jimmy Page put like 8 guitars on the recording. So we do the ones that I think people would know the most, the live recordings, because it's 4 members. So the movie, The Song Remains the Same, is kind of what we patterned from. And then we do other songs, but we do the studio versions. So, and when I do the studio versions, the guitar parts, I just try to take the loudest guitar part and kind of toggle back and forth between guitar parts. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. No, I get exactly what you're saying. Now, Frank, if Led Zeppelin had continued touring into the 1980s, do you think that their music would have evolved and would it evolve dramatically, or would they have stayed true to their roots?
Well, for a while, I was a little concerned because it seemed like they were getting a little bit too influenced by their contemporaries, like in the 80s, when the 80s came, and there was that, like they called it new wave, and all of a sudden Led Zeppelin started doing a lot of things that weren't really Led Zeppelin, in my opinion. To me, the Into the Outdoor album was a complete departure from Led Zeppelin. And I think Jimmy Page even I could quote him and say the thing. The whole idea, see, here's the thing I feel Led Zeppelin. They were popular based on word of mouth and concert experiences, not on what the radio was telling them they had to like. It wasn't like some big record exec's daughter was telling daddy what songs were cool because she thought so and so was cute. You know what I mean? It was it was more about honesty. People liked them because of their live, it was word of mouth. It wasn't like you were told Led Zeppelin is a good band, go buy their album. It was more like your friends were telling you, or people that had seen them. So it was more real. You believed it more. It wasn't like watching a commercial about insurance on TV.
Right.
You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Once again, the original Led Zeppelin just like the blues, was more about the feel. It wasn't about,
Yes,
the
totally.
Billboard top charts or the who's got the cutest look. It was really about the music and the feel of that music that
Absolutely.
transferred to the listener. Now,
Hmm.
speaking of listeners and fans, has a fan ever shared a story that made you realize your show means far more to them than nostalgia?
Well, countless times, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
That's it right there. Because I feel like I've actually connected with so many different people who feel the same way about it as I do. And it's such
Mm,
a wonderful feeling to feel you're not alone.
yeah.
I feel like this has really, like, even you, James. I mean, you and I kind of like, we
Oh
both
yeah.
love the Beatles, and we both
Oh yeah.
love the organic part about Zeppelin.
Mm,
That's that's what it's about, bringing people together and being happy, and forgetting
yeah.
about all that negative, because it's always going to be there, and we're
It's
lucky to
waiting.
be alive. You know what? I got one word: thankful. That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
I
Now,
become, to me, this is spiritual. I mean, totally. This is like going to church.
yeah.
When we do a show, I feel like I'm at the houses of the holy.
Oh yeah. Good way of putting it. I like that. Now, you connect with a
Oh,
lot of people that were original Led Zeppelin fans, and they were at the concerts, and
yes.
they got all those memories, and they're just embedded into their DNA. But let me ask you about
Hmm.
this. Do younger audiences experience Kashmir differently than those who actually saw, Led Zeppelin in concert? And which reaction surprises you more?
Well, in the summertime, like right now, pretty much we're doing all outdoor shows, with the
Mhm.
exception of the one we're doing with you in
Right.
Bradley
Air
this
conditioning.
Saturday. Yes, right. Which is a beautiful thing. Um,
Mhm.
it's just, I see a lot of kids wearing like Led Zeppelin t-shirts, and I know that their mom and dad kind of push them that way. But I think
Right.
it's a good influence, because music should go back, in my opinion, to the roots, like what it's about: talent. I mean, okay, I could go buy a device that electronically, artificially, intelligently
Mm.
fixes the pitch when I
Right.
sing out of tune, or when I hit a note,
Mhm.
But is that what I want? I don't know. The To me, the best music that happens is the one take, the first take, not like
Mm.
200 times you perfected it,
Right.
and yet, yeah, punch ins
Yeah.
and all this, the fix it in the mix and all that.
Yeah.
You know,
It's more in the
I mean,
moment.
yeah, I mean, we sometimes we'll do a show and I'll be playing, and I'll be like, oh, that was horrible. I was terrible tonight. Then I see the video and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that was happening. Objectively, it sounds differently. I mean, to me, being a musician is really about being as objective as you possibly could
Mhm.
be. Seeing
Right.
yourself, and you know this from the radio thing and all that you do,
Oh, yeah.
you have to be objective. You have to see yourself as others see you, not as you see yourself.
Right.
And if you can
Yeah.
kind of do that, you have a much better perspective as to what's going to be entertaining and interesting. I don't want to sound like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I
No,
I
I know
think I
exactly
think
what you're
that's a
saying. You
good
care
thing.
about it. And speaking of that,
I do.
to me, what I'm getting from you is you feel a responsibility when it comes to preserving one of rock's greatest legacies for people who will never have the chance to see the original band. So,
You know what, I can't stand it when I see people convolute the market. I think we all have to give credit where credit's due and respect
Mhm.
what we're doing. And yes, I'm in a very good position and to be able to do these shows, and I
Right.
owe it to each and every single person to do the absolute best I can possibly do. And that's really how I feel.
Yeah. And it
There's a lot of
shows.
great musicians and great bands out there that really want to be playing, and they're not. And I'm lucky enough to be doing it, so I'm not going to take it lightly. I
Yeah.
feel that we are the designated drivers. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that
Yeah.
come in the audience, they should have a good time, do whatever they want to do, but we need to be very, very honest and serious about what we're doing with
Oh
a
yeah.
clear head on stage.
Like I said, you feel a responsibility to stay true to the music,
I
and I
do.
like that. Now,
Absolutely.
when the
Well,
final
yeah.
notes of Stairway to Heaven fade and the lights come up, what do you hope every person in the audience carries home besides the memories?
Happiness, a good positive feeling. Just like, yeah, that was, wow. I want to go back to that zone. You know, it's an escape, a total
Yeah.
escape.
Now, Frank, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What would you like to say to those people out there that are still on the fence about, getting those concert tickets to go see Kashmir, the Led Zeppelin show concert this Saturday, June 13th at the Aspen Bristol Ballroom in Bradley, Illinois? What would you like to say to those folks?
I think it's something that it's going to be a nonstop, high energy show filled with all kinds of things that happen that will never happen again.
Yeah.
So be there. It's going to be a one of a kind show.
And folks, it's been 6 long years since Kashmir's been in our area. So there's
Yeah.
just going to
Wow.
be a real good vibe about this show. It's been anticipating for many years, and we're finally getting Kashmir back here. Now, Frank, this conversation, it reminds us that, great music doesn't simply survive because, recordings exist. It survives because passionate musicians refuse to let its spirit fade away. Kashmir isn't trying to rewrite history. They're preserving it with remarkable respect, painstaking authenticity, an unwavering commitment to the sound that forever changed rock and roll. And in doing so, they've become more than a tribute act. They've become caretakers of an experience that millions wish they could have witnessed firsthand. And for a long time, Zeppelin devotees, they rekindle memories forever. For younger generations, they open up a doorway to an era that can only be imagined through stories and songs. And for everyone in between, they prove that when an artist is approached with humility and passion, the line between tribute and transcendence is beautifully blurred. And thank you, Frank, for sharing not only their music, but the philosophy behind it. And I mean, you guys do such a great job. And may the amplifiers stay loud, the vintage gear keep glowing, and the spirit of Led Zeppelin continue to echo through every stage you grace, man. And, with that, what do you say? Can you get your instrument and head us out on a good note?
Sure.
All right. you go, folks.
All right.
Frank Livingston of Kashmir this Saturday. Yes, indeed. And you know what? We're going to do this one more time so folks know. You know, honestly, there comes a point when you should stop saying, we should go sometime, and finally make that memory happen. I mean, think about the first time you cranked up Whole Lotta Love or Kashmir or Black Dog or Stairway to Heaven. You know, think about the friends riding shotgun, the windows down, the basement parties, the garage speakers, the concert posters on your bedroom wall, the moments when Led Zeppelin's music became the soundtrack to your life. Those weren't just songs, they were chapters, man. And this Saturday night, you've got the chance to relive them all, not through a playlist, but surrounded by people who felt the very same magic you did. So grab your spouse, text your brother, call your best friend, get the old crew back together, because years from now, you're not going to remember another night on the couch. But I guarantee you, you'll remember singing every word with hundreds of fellow fans while Kashmir brings the spirit of Zeppelin roaring back to life. Kashmir, the Complete Led Zeppelin Experience, Whole Lotta Love concert, Aspen, Bristol Ballroom at the Quality Inn, 800 North Kinsey Avenue in Bradley. That's this Saturday, June 13th. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. Tickets, seated general admission, $25. VIP table seating near the stage, $50. And you can get those tickets at Ross's Rock and Roll Emporium, the front desk at the Quality Inn, King Music, and also online. But I'm going to tell you, like we said earlier, Kashmir has not been in this area for 6 years. So don't wait. Kashmir, 6 years ago, we had to turn people away. So with that being said, you know, the music, the memories, and the people who live with them, with you, they're all going to be waiting. The only question is, will you be there? You know, I guess that's the question right there is, you know, the music, the memories, and the people who live them with you, they're all waiting. And the question is, will you be there when the lights go down and the first legendary riff shakes the entire room? Can you already imagine it? Get those tickets today, folks, and we'll see you this Saturday for an amazing Kashmir, the Complete Led Zeppelin Experience show. And Frank, with that, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person, my friend. It's been too long.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
See you there.
Thanks, Frank. You're awesome.
You too.